Today on Darry's Daily Doings, doing a little trailer tongue repair. A friend of mine brought me this trailer, and the front two ears that you see there were collapsing together. That's where the A-frame coupler bolts through. There's no support out on the end at all. So we're going to add in a piece of angle iron back at the back, and then I've got a piece of 4-inch by 1/4 inch that I bent up to wrap around the front and get welded in. So this is a stainless steel wire brush, just cleaning it up very vigorously. There's a lot of salt and road grime that was in between where the plates are welded to the box tube, so that was fighting me quite a bit on this whole project. Every time I got anywhere near that, it would start boiling out and mess up my welds. I sprayed everything down with acetone, wiped it all out good. So I used a stainless steel wire brush. Cleanliness is definitely key when you're welding aluminum. Just try to get that piece of angle iron tacked in between the two ears. Say that's not that critical. Once the bolt's in there and the tongue's bolted back on, or the coupler's bolted back on, it's going to be pinched in there and it's never going to go anywhere. So now that that's all welded in, here's the piece that I bent up for the front. Say that's 1/4 inch thick. It's 4 inches tall to match up with the 4-inch box tube. I threw it in my brake and just bent it, feathered back the edges, cleaned everything up with a Scotch-Brite pad, and just getting it tacked in place. A little tap, get the seat in where I want it. Get another tack on it, make sure everything looks good. And now I'll start welding it all in. There you go. It's that corner, like I say, it's where the top plate is welded to that box tube. There was a bunch of crud in there, and it kept boiling out on me every single time I tried to weld in the corners. I ground it out really good, and I got in there with a die grinder, and I tried to really eat it out, but it was still coming back out from underneath that plate. But once I get away from that, it welded fairly well. Probably could have used a torch and gave it a little preheat on it. Would have welded a little bit better. It was pretty cold in the shop. It was like 35 degrees. So I pretty much had my welder maxed right out. You can see my breath in the video. So now I got that top all welded in. Gonna move to the sides. Just welding from the top down, kind of keyholing it out and then letting it eat in. It's 100% penetration throughout this whole thing. I kept the plate about a 50% overhang, or so that way I could get a really good bead on this. Since it is obviously a trailer, you don't want this thing coming off of there. And if you dip your rod or you get a glob on your tungsten, you got to stop. You got to clean it. If it's any buildup on there at all, it'll make the weld behave really weird. Kind of jumps around and spirals off the tip, and it's really hard to keep a puddle in a good spot, and the heat doesn't really stay in one spot. So I should be able to see this side, so you can see me feathering the pedal a little bit, and then say let it keyhole out a little bit, and then dip the rod in. Just work my way down. Now, this is really poor design. I'm not really sure why a trailer manufacturer would make a tongue like this and have it cantilevered out on the end with nothing between those 2 points. It's definitely a lot stronger like this. It's never gonna fail again. The only reason why the guy noticed this was a problem was that the back 2 corners of the coupler started cracking and working their way towards the front. The whole tongue, he could pick it up and down with it attached on the back of the truck, and it was all loose because he couldn't keep the bolts tight. It just kept crushing in. So I'm back in that corner with a die grinder and a carbide burr, trying to clean that out. Say it's right where the 4-inch box tube is laminated to the plate, and say it was like this black, say road grime, salt, corrosion, whatever, just kept working out on me. So, but you stop, clean it out, wipe it back out. There's a say stainless steel wire brush, and then we got some acetone on a rag. Just keep wiping it out. Now, if you've noticed here, I'm laying on the ground. I'm running the pedal with my calf, with my one leg, as I'm trying to get this to stick together. It fought me, but we got it. Propping it up in the air really high has ended up what allowed me to get around that corner, get that weld in there nice.